Can you hear me? Am I on?
Yes,
It's all happening, is it?
it's all happening.
Okay, my name's Yagia and I'm speaking from Nimbin, and I acknowledge the elders past and present from Bunjlan country and also my Guru Swami Satyananda. So what this talk is about is I was selected as one of about 12 people on a pilot project on a girl who I will call Amanda because I can't say her real name. This client has got a history of trauma and autism, and it results in her attacking people and destroying things. I've been working there for about 4 years now, and in that time, I've instilled yoga as a daily activity for her. So all the staff, whoever's on shift, and there's 2 people on shift at any given time because she can attack you, all the staff teach yoga to Amanda, and the classes started from a 5-minute simple class to now it goes to about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. Her successes are quite incredible. She doesn't smear fecal smearing anymore. She doesn't wake up at night screaming as much as she used to. She doesn't attack people nearly as much as she used to. In fact, she hasn't for quite a while now. One of the successes, there's a bunch of successes that are attributable not only to yoga but to the whole situation, because she's now in a safe situation and she has a regular, consistent program. And yoga is just part of that. So we can't attribute all her successes to yoga, but there are a few that we can attribute to them. And one of them is an example of her focus. So this is someone who would normally not be able to focus at all. And one of the yoga exercises that we do with her is balancing exercises. So she has to look at a point on the wall, and she's into counting, so we get her to count while she's looking and balancing on one foot. Now, we took her to the dentist and she had to put her head in some apparatus and keep perfectly still while the machine took an x-ray of her teeth. And she was able to keep perfectly still for about 30 seconds. So when she first came, this was unheard of, that she would be able to do this. There's other things too. Because she's traumatized, she started speaking in a very soft voice. No one could hear her. You'd have to get her to repeat, and she'd put her head down and talk very softly. So I introduced singing lessons. And as well as singing lessons, there's also a thing in yoga called the lion pose, where you stick your tongue out and make a roar, which opens up your throat. Now she talks normally. I've got a whole list here of successes, and I'm not going to go through them because it's too much. One of the other things that we're doing with her is breathing. So in yoga, there's also and it is breathing in one nostril and out the other nostril and then back again. And what this does is balance the energy in the brain. So normally you would do it with like this, but she does it very simply like this. Another exercise that we do with her is what in yoga we call, in Satyananda yoga, we call mindful antimone, which is generally sort of known now as mindfulness. So in this exercise, near the end of all her yoga asanas, she just stands there and listens to the sounds. So this is a stepped approach where it goes from listening to the sounds and watching the breath and then watching the thoughts. So far, it hasn't gone on past the sounds. But this is like an idea of how this approach is going.
Maybe 1 minute left.
Okay, how about we just have some questions now, because is that okay?
Of course it is. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just wanted to give you a little warning.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you so much. That was fascinating. I have a question here from the Q&A. It's, is Amanda a child or an adult?
She's a 23-year-old girl. The whole project costs the government about $2.5 million a year. And she started off in an organisation like any disabled people, but she ruined the place and she attacked people. Then she got sent to Lismore Hospital. They didn't know what to do with her. They sent her down to Sydney, and she was virtually in a padded cell there for 2 years, while a whole group of psychologists and social workers tried to figure out what to do with her. And then they found this organisation that I now work for to take it on, and we have a specially built house for her.
Okay. Fascinating. I've got one more question from the Q&A here, and then I'll open it up to everyone else who's here. So if you have a question, hold it ready. The question I've got here is, how long has it taken before the carers were able to see a noticeable difference? So how long from the start of the treatment?
The changes are very gradual. It's like if you're in a relationship with someone, you know, it's difficult to see them change, but if you come in, you know, after a period of time, you can see the change. So it's incremental. It's a difficult question to answer because some changes were quite early on, and like the fecal smearing, she stopped doing that about 2 years ago, and sleeping patterns. She's sort of gone into being able to sleep all through the night just in the last few months. And some of those are to do with medication too. You know, she's on diazepam and a few medications, and the psychiatrist has a look at her medication every few months and tweaks it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a whole bunch of factors. It's not just yoga, but I'm only talking about how the yoga component has affected this situation.
I'll just open up to anyone else who'd like. Megan Lee.
Hello. I'm really interested in this. Mental health is my forte, and I just love the idea of lifestyle factors being used as prevention and treatment for serious mental illness, like what you're talking about. I am really interested in the other factors of what you are doing with her. So the yoga happens every day, is that right?
Every 6 days a week. On one of those days, a person comes in and teaches her another exercise.
Excellent, that's so good. And do you think that the benefits are from the mindfulness component of the yoga, or do you think the benefits might be from the physical activity component of the yoga?
I think both, and in different ways. So one of them is just having a routine. So this person, if she's not given any other choices, she'll sit on her bed and just sit on her bed all day or watch TV all day and do nothing else. So, there's a whole different sort of like intricacy in answering this question. That it's sort of, it can get a bit complicated, but it's a lot of different factors. Yeah.
I would be really interested to see the other things that you were doing, like you did say that she has some form of ASD, is that right? Is she on the autism spectrum? Yeah.
Yes.
So one of the things that I'm really interested in is ASD and nutrition as well, because kind of nutrition and psychology, it's my thing.
Yeah.
But is there anything happening with that side of things?
With the nutrition side, well, she has a dietitian, and generally speaking, she has low carbohydrates, pretty good food, but every night she has one of those frozen meals that you buy from Woolworths, which, they say that the nutritional component is quite good, but I don't know.
Yeah, and it can also, with people who are on the spectrum, it is quite difficult to get them to eat certain textures, certain types.
Yeah, she's okay. She'll eat anything,
and
and once a week she has a choice of something from the shops, and she might get fish and chips and a Coke from the shops. So apart from that, all her food is good.
That's really good to hear.
But one of the other main parts of it is consistency. As you probably know, with autism, consistency is a big factor, and predictability. So if she goes out, she gets taken out twice a week for about 3 hours on each occasion, with 3 workers in case she attacks people. And before she goes out, she has a visualization read to her. So the visualization is something like, okay, at 12 o'clock, so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so are going to come and pick you up, and you're going to go in the white car, and you're going to go down there, and then you're going to get out on that side of the car, and you'll see the beach, and then you'll walk along the beach and you'll collect shells, and etc., etc. So a whole sort of visualization that she's prepared for, and that's made such a difference too.
That sounds really good. And it's interesting that you're able to scaffold mindfulness into other parts of her life as well, which is great.
Yeah, it's a really interesting project. Yeah.
I can see that Gurmeet has a question. And
I have just a little question. That is she taking any Ayurvedic medications as well?
Not that I'm aware of. No. Oh, she does have rescue remedy. But that's homeopathic, so I don't think that really fits into Ayurvedic. So as far as Ayurvedic medicine, are you thinking of any particular type?
No, I'm just, because she's doing yoga, and if you're doing yoga and having Ayurvedic medications as well together, then because I'm from India, so I know that they work really quickly.
I know they work really well together.
Yeah, but because they are combined with like yoga with Ayurvedic medications, it works really well.
The point is that I just happened to be one of the workers there, and when and from the start, and when she came in to the service from the start, nobody really knew what to do with her. And because I was there, I was able to get the yoga program happening, just because it's my passion, and I knew that it would work for her. All the other staff that work there, apart from one, they're not into yoga. They do it because they come to work, but it's not their thing.
Thank you so much, Yagia. We have run out of time. We've got a couple of other things that we need to get on with. I do have one question in the chat here, and I will ask it in just a moment. But there seems to be a lot of interest in this. It's a really fascinating discussion. On the agenda, you will find Yagia's subsection, and you can certainly put more questions on there, and he'll be able to answer there later on just by typing. So the question I've got in the chat here is just very brief answer. What is your goal with this young woman, and what is your measurement of success?
There's a lot of data collection that are collected. So there's lots of graphs and scales and things like that. the end result is that hopefully she'll be able to go back into a disability group home and just be another ordinary disabled person without special needs, without the intense special needs that she's getting now.
Thank you so much. What a wonderful presentation. So I'm sure everyone else is applauding behind their muted microphones right now.
Thank you. I was a bit nervous to start with, I'll tell you now.
No, you did really well. It was fantastic. And a great discussion, which is what I always like to see, a good discussion.